And Dyer even managed to crossbow here. The Earth Spirit drugged the wave over.
I love when you cross those pools.
No.
Wait, I'm forced to use a salve up in the mid lane.
Dirty inflection.
Yay.
Denied.
I mean, you should just take those opportunities where I just go right past whatever stupid things I say. We're going to see Earth Spirit take a lot of damage, and he probably will be going down. Weaver has another Shikuchi in a little bit. Can he actually get away from here? No, the last auto attack is going to be there. Kunkka finds it, and now maybe they find another one onto the Batrider. Batrider has a Firefly up in
this
3 seconds.
Is running here. Bloody Nine is probably going to get bodied for about the first 5 to 7 levels of this game, just because of the huge base damage discrepancy that Invoker has when he goes full X-Sword Orbs. And without a roam from
taking a lot of damage from the Firefly. There's me sticking Napalm there as well. Can SYC do enough damage to the Batrider? Footsie's a little bit too tanky for this. SYC is going to go forward. He's going to need the Geminate Storm, and he should be able to do it. His creeps are helping him out a lot as well. And Earth Spirit just can't really do enough damage or control to keep the Weaver out of that one.
He wants to get to a Dominator and some boots, and he wants to start stacking Ancients. When you pressure him like this, you put him so far off of his timings that he's going to really struggle in the mid game.
Kunkka doing a lot of damage with the DD up against the Earth Spirit, who basically has no way to get away from the Kunkka right now except to slow him down with the Orb of Venom. It's going to take one more hit from Footsie, but he gets a juke around the tree. It's not going to happen in its entirety, though, and now Footsie's going to run right into the Batrider. Maybe his best hope is to deny himself here. Sunstrike is going to try to help out a little bit. Batrider still finds the kill on Kunkka.
Yeah, and that's ending up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Midas here.
Possibly a little bit, but if you take a look inside the Dire jungle, there is a hard cam stacked up for when the Batrider needs to go over. However, they might not get a chance for the Invoker to stay alive for too long. Torrent's going to be there, and they get a double Starfall. Enough to kill off the Invoker there, which finds the kill. But, as I was saying, when the Batrider... very astute observation that the Batrider ends up dying at bottom.
So Footsie did decide that his team has enough damage to not need to put extra points in Torrent early. Does go for a full 3 points in X, so the grab range is huge right now. And it looks like Troup's a little bit caught out here, but they might look to turn this.
Oh, there was a Rubik caught up at top. Yeah, Rubik kind of took the Vendetta underneath the tower. Murata missed an arrow. It was like a symphony of misses, but in the end are still able to secure the kill. And maybe the Invoker goes forward a little bit, just shows himself a bit too hard on the lit thing. But Batrider just not able to find anything there. Sunstrike off the mark. Troup just able to avoid it. Next Assassin does get hit a little bit by the Earth Spirit, but now here comes the Chain Frost. Can SYC stay alive? Doesn't end up finding the kill. And now it's going to be 4 against the Invoker at bottom. There's a little bit of help coming in from the Rubik, but it might not be fast enough. Invoker ends up dying. Kunkka lifted up underneath the tower. Rubik finds the kill on that one. But that's going to be it. And a ton of heroes went down for Midas at bottom.
Yeah, really, really well played from end to there. The Nyx is going to get a guaranteed carapace on the Batrider every single fight. And even missing the Impale, they end up coming out way ahead in that. So,
and he doesn't get the chance to use the time lapse. I think he might have been in the middle of the animation there, but in the middle of an animation does not count in Dota. And Weaver takes definitely a bit of an unwanted death at bottom. He's really got to keep his farm going here, and a death is not going to help him with that at all.
yeah, he definitely...
Looks like they're not going to be able to, as the Ice Wall dropped down. They were so ready for this one, and walk right into the trap. Set by this Fen. He says, look, they're smoked. He's coming after me. I think we should fight this. And they do.
That feels so bad.
I mean, it was just a good word that has now expired. But so on a Batrider, Weaver goes forward, and there's no way that the Batrider gets out of that one. Earth Spirit just keeps sitting right next to the Chain Frost. SYC needs a time lapse. We'll be able to get it off. Gets away with the Shikuchi. And that's 2 heroes down at bottom. No one going to their deaths yet for end. And Murata's still pushing mid, forcing out a TP from the Invoker, just dodges that arrow. But, you know, she still gets a creep with it anyway.
Kunkka Boat saved his life there on Weaver so hard. That Sunstrike only doing half damage, otherwise he would have died. And this Invoker's now in a little bit of trouble.
Just in a bit of trouble. Arrow's gonna... There's actually no mana for Arrow, and now the Close Knot's gonna come through. Nice damage from the Earth Spirit. We'll get the silence in. Rolls right on top of the Murata, and she's gonna pay for putting some damage on the Invoker. Magnetism also gonna come through. Just trying to get a little more damage on the Lich.
There just killed him. He had leap. He tried to turn around, and Bottom's turn speed is just so slow.
Dire's top tower.
Gonna be a spike carapace to kill off the Batrider, and now the Rubik comes through with a Shikuchi. Gonna be doing a little bit of nice damage here. Arrow comes through, doesn't actually hit onto much. And meanwhile, Sven's just gonna go God Strength on the top tower. Should be able to kill it off here.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah, definitely looking to take it here, and that will get him very close to his Echo Saber. Only about 400 gold off now, but he may get.
Oh, he turns it around. I mean, he's got the double stun, and I mean, the Earth Spirit. There's also going to be an arrow right on top of him. Does end up coming out with the magnetism, and there's a boat on the 3, huge from the Kunkka, just running right over them. The Weaver does end up getting splatted on the ground, but now we've got him running in the middle of 3. Doesn't actually get the kill onto the Invoker, who was invis there, taking a lot of damage from the Sven. They've got to get away from this big boy, and the Spike Carapace used perhaps a little bit early by the next assassin, but look at the cleave damage right on the Bloody 9. Then it's got the Chain Frost back, Sven sent back. They need the damage here, but Sven might be a little bit too tanky. Bloody 9 leaps in, is going to get the Starfall, but it's not enough damage on the Sven. They need more than one hit. It's not going to happen. Off the Alicorp, he's just on 20 health, and he's got to leap on his own. Midas turning it around. They get a 4 spot at mid. And it seems like N just had so much. It just seems like they had so much working for them there, but I mean, by the slimmest of margins, Midas stay alive.
Haste.
If you have detection, you kill the Invoker. If you kill the Invoker, he doesn't get off the 2 extra spells he got.
So much damage on him, keeping the lasso available on the Batrider, and they do a ton of work. Oh, Sunstrike, that's another one hit by the Invoker. He'll take down the Lich Assassin. I mean, he's not doing too much assassinating here. And now the Rana possibly getting caught out by the Earth Spirit, but End will lose a tower bottom. We get the mid tower kind of low, but in Frost at mid, Rubik just staying alive there. It just seems like Rubik is just very low for most of this game and ends up surviving just by a little. Courier just for some reason decides to go over mid. Has to be very careful there. Weaver's over to the side, 49 in the middle of this. This boat is going to hit on those Sven. Can they actually take him down here? Invoke is going to turn around, but a nice impale on the 3 is going to do a ton of work. Sven trying to back away. Does he have the heals for it? The creeps end up getting stunned up in the middle of the lane. Sven X back right into it again. Can this Nyx Assassin stay alive? Looks like the answer is no. Starfall forward from the Mirana, but it looks like the big Starfall is going to go onto the tanky heroes. Can SYC find any more kills? Earth Spirit doing his best to stay alive. Star 67 looking for a flame break. We'll find it on the Bloody 9, but he's just going to TP back into the base. Really does not want to go too hard on this one. Weaver, time loss available. Doesn't get a chance for it as the last was used underneath the tower. Footsie does find a nice Tidebringer to kill off the Batrider. He's looking to finish off the team wipe, but I mean, this one stack of napalm. Oh my god. That one stack of napalm doing so much against the Kunkka, allowing Rubik to just move in, get the Shikuchi and the Blink Dagger forward to find the kill.
This is just insane. These team fights are so close every single fight, and it all comes down to one person making a hero play or one person missing a skill. The Nyx's 3-man Impale there started that fight out so well. For
the Nyx Assassin going forward gets his play carapace off Batrider in a ton of trouble.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They miss everything and still finish him. A rare miss from Footsie there, missing the torrent on the X.
9 getting a lot of damage done to him, manages to avoid that arrow, but SYC will make his way over to the mid lane. Earth Spirit in a ton of trouble and just rolls right into a couple of heroes. He kicks one away, but that's not really, that's only half the problem.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, good couple picks there for End. That Lincoln's was huge on Weaver. Batrider either didn't know about it or forgot, but huge to blow the lasso on that. And a nice big turnaround for them. They needed that so badly on End's side.
And now the Rubik, he's using the Shikuchi to the best of his ability right now. Nyx Assassin does use the Spike Carapace, but Rubik's just going to keep doing damage here. Lifts up the Mirana. That's going to be a Sunstrike right onto him. And Nyx Assassin also getting stunned up here. Gets a cold snap as well right underneath the Dire Sentry. They went too hard for a Rubik, and, well, I mean, right now the series is just the series of Rubik.
Rubik is 1 kill away from being ahead of the Potamin net worth. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Rubik is crushing in both of these games. There definitely aren't the math.
And the boat nearly taking down Roshan. Can the Chain Frost do enough? This is going to be a tough ask. It keeps going over to him. Last it does end up getting used on the Kunkka, keeping him there for a little bit. But and they may have managed to break this fight up enough to keep them in this one. Torrent comes through, Mirana into the pit, but now she's going to get stunned right away. That was an arrow from Rubik? I don't even know, but somehow Mirana gets stunned inside the pit. Roshan's still available, gets a stun off. Can the Wish do enough? Roshan is just going ham right now, and the Sunstrike is enough to get it. Invoker finds the Aegis, and Weaver's just going to be sitting there looking at an Invoker that's going to get stunned immediately as he come up. That was the Aegis, and it might have been the kill. Oh, but they don't have enough. Yep, they do have the detection.
There's 3 sentries all sitting outside the pit from different teams.
Yeah, in the end, they just find the victory, and SYC stands strong, really showing that net worth on the Weaver, becoming a little bit unkillable with the Lincoln. Rubik's going to come in, and the Sven gets taken down. Huge kill for End. Can they find anything off the back of this? The huge damage from Midas Club is kind of gone right now. Rubik's still going around with the Shikuchi, but her Spirit taken right down. Meatball dropped down onto a few heroes. Nyx Assassin, Footsie, getting a little bit low. Footsie killed off. Now the Chain Frost comes through. Batrider in so much trouble trying to back away from this one, but the Chain Frost bounces all around the creeps. Not really the best heroes there now. SYC very low. Invoker nearly taking him down. He needs one more hit for it, but the arrow is going to hit. Do they have detection for it? Oh my god! That Fade Bolt takes the double kill for the Rubik. And it's just... I mean, the heroes are just finding it so difficult to actually see each other right now. Sunstrike's going to be off the mark, but Invoker somehow stays alive through all of that. And these fights, looks like these teams just want to go right at each other. Slight advantage.
My heart can't take
these
games. These team fights are so disgustingly close every single time.
Sunstrike doing a ton of damage to the Mirana. You don't really even need a whole lot of detection for it, even though they have pretty much full view of the Mirana there. Rubik picks up the Starstorm as well as the Aghanim Scepter off the Courier. Some kind of fights that end up with the Nyx Assassin there. Weaver needs a time lapse. We'll be able to get it off. He's going right for the Invoker right now. The Tornado's going to come through. EMP combo also there for the SYC Weaver, who absolutely has to get away, but he's not going to be able to. He's getting taken very low by this, but has managed to get away from the Batrider. Rubik gets a Starfall. That's a dead bug squashed on the ground. And Sven is just proving to be a bit much for End to bear right now.
That was the worst choice of positioning for End to fight on. The Nyx engaging back here put them in this awkward spot where 2 of their heroes got on the high ground. That's being SYC and...
as possible, but now he's going to get lifted up in the air, immediately chunked down. There's also going to be a lasso out on the Kunkka. Chain Frost going to be going through here, and the gem's going to be dropped on the ground. Kunkka taken out immediately. SYC trying to go in here. Gem is still on the ground. Ruby's going to go for it. Does have it on him now. Sven taking a lot of damage from SYC. This is a time lapse. Just wants to get away from some of that damage. They need to take down the Sven, but it's going to be super difficult. Inside the burrow, Kunkka dragged back in. It's going to be a boat being there, and Sven just goes right in. Kunkka's going to be the first one down. Still some nice impales from the Nyx Assassin. Some nice magic damage. All these heroes are very close together. If the Kunkka was up, it would be his time, but Weaver just goes right into the BKB. A lot of these heroes taking a ton of damage from the Chain Frost, which actually kills off the Earth Spirit. Rubik forced to get away from this one. Sven is dead. Maybe the Invoker also takes a death here. That's going to be the Aegis being down. Rubik blinks away.
Yeah, he's getting benched.
Yeah, Invoker actually gets the ice wall down. Can he get out of here? These Radiant heroes. Oh, just missing that arrow. They're going to have to make a decision here sometime. They get it with the Nyx Assassin. Wow. Eventually the Radiant Courier also gets killed. So, I mean, I guess it's not terrible. But
the big saving grace for Midas there is they didn't lose their gem. It's still sitting on the bat, and they may lose it right here if they're not careful.
Well, the bugs do get put onto the Rubik, who goes for a Shikuchi. Nyx Assassin being dragged back in, has a burrow available, as well as a Spike Carapace, but doesn't put that off.
Burrow's a long animation. It's very easy to get silenced and stunned out of it, and basically be locked out of that skill for about 6 seconds.
Haste.
SYC just making the hasty retreat up in the sneaky deaky spot of the map.
Sven still working on those items right. It's there as well. Do they have enough damage for the Sven, who's just going to be able to BKB? And I think N just want to try to dodge this now. Sven blinks right on top of the Kunkka. Mirana manages to get away. So, I mean, I guess that's a BKB charge for a Kunkka. At some point, you might be okay with that trade, but SYC wants something a little bit more. Puts the bugs down, tries to go for the Invoker, who just goes into a Ghost Walk and makes his way away. But a nice play Carapace from the Nyx Assassin, keeping them in place for a little bit longer. 29 gets a leap away. Can the Weaver actually do enough? Weaver's really not doing too much at all right now. He's disarmed for a little bit longer. Oh, he's forced to use a time lapse. Trough getting taken down inside the trees. And now SYC is just going to try to TP away. Lift is available, but what?
Weird.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah. Fade Bolt, I think, was still on cooldown there for the last second of that, and he had to pop the Lincolns. Well, there was, yeah.
Invoker does get the lift out onto the Kunkka and immediately thrown up by the chin. The Sven, no way to get him out of that one. And look how futile the efforts of the Weaver are against the Sven, just taking him down to half health after just kind of going ham on him for a couple seconds, and there was really no need to save him at all. Weaver up a little bit forward. Needs to be very careful of when these stuns come through. And remember, there's also a blink forward by the Sven many different times. Doing a ton of damage. Bloody Nine goes in, gets the arrow actually onto Sven. Alright, takes a lot of damage from this from the Weaver. Weaver gonna get silenced and stunned in the middle of the Firefly. That's the Storm Bolt. He's gonna be forced to time lapse right back in after the buyback. Now Invoker, if they can take this Weaver down, that'd be a huge step for Midas Club to win this game. But tier 3 ends up going down, but the racks are defended for end.
Yeah, forcing the buyback alone is a big enough benefit there. They're going to roll right towards the Roche pit and check it. The potential for it to come up is not for another minute or two yet, but I think they're going to want to grab Vision. So, do they have any wards on the Earth Spirit? They don't. It's quite unfortunate. So,
going out on the 2. Sven needs to get the BKB off. Eventually he does, but he only takes a Chain Frost over the Invoker, who's forced into his BKB now. And kind of have the positioning right now. Need to be careful around the Sven. And a nice definitely blast. Actually blocked, or dodged by the Weaver. Decides to go right back in onto the Invoker. Arrow being sent in. Off the mark. Can the Weaver stay alive? He absolutely has to. Has the BKB going. Sven goes for the stun, but doesn't really hit on the much. Only on the Mirana, who's already leaping through. And that's a 4 spot for end. Triple kill for SYC, doing so much damage with the Weaver now. As soon as they take care of the Sven, things get so much easier for end.
6,000 net worth swing and a gem recovered. Absolutely huge team fight for them. They desperately needed that.
And Midas Club, a huge amount of damage to the Witch, but it looks like they do actually manage to find the Sven. Weaver stunned out for a while, can't really use the time lapse, does use it there. Now there's going to be a tornado, meatball combo from the Invoker, and Weaver ends up dying. Can they do enough damage here? BKB is over for the Invoker. Next Assassin dragged back underneath that Burrow Strike. Nice little scepter of the Invoker dodging the boat. And Earth Spirit's just getting punished so much by the Nyx Assassin.
So little damage right now on both teams. When Sven dies, team fights just draw on forever.
Right?
As soon as Sven and Weaver got deleted, they just stare at each other.
Right. That's basically the problem of these drafts right from the get-go.
And there's not a way to really fix it through itemization. Sure, Lich could look to get something like an Ags. Doesn't really solve the problem. Your Potom could opt for something like a E-Blade. I actually like the idea of that because you can E-Blade the target Sven goes on while he's BK.
That's turning in circles, but circles don't get you anywhere.
Ouch.
And he also drops a gem on the ground.
Yeah. You can't get caught like that. I mean, he realized he was getting gone on, he unburrowed, but then he ran towards them. I think he was probably dead either way, but you could at least start walking back towards your...
Picked up, and yeah, the BK is going to be used inside the pit. Invoker's stunned up. Do they actually want to go on this? That Rider's already down. SYC going for a man fight again. Does he actually want to go for this? Gets the time lapse out. He can't really man fight the Sven anymore. Has to be very careful. Mirana's stuck in the middle of this one, but Sven is getting controlled by the Torrent. He's going to take another impale to the face from the Nyx Assassin. Bloody Line in a lot of trouble. He cannot stay alive there. And now Lich in a ton of trouble as well. Sven not able to be man fight for the Weaver there. Didn't have enough support from his team, and the positioning wasn't really good enough for Midas. So as soon as Midas Club take the Aegis, and they're kind of locked out of that fight. Things took a little bit too long.
Very close on the timing. Beautiful tornado to push the Dire team off and let them close out on that Aegis. The Sven BKB'd in the pit without getting a single auto off in the duration, and they still won the fight. And I'm a little bit nervous for End's positioning here because...
Another BKB off. Nyx Assassin takes a ton of damage. That's a gem on the ground. Weaver, BKBs, still trying to go for any kind of hero that he can see. But this Rubik is actually a bit tankier than he would seem at face value. Both come through, but it's only going to hit a couple of creeps. Invoker getting stunned out on the outside thanks to the Impale, but they're still trying to walk through the ice wall, and eventually the Nyx Assassin picks up the gem. Rana forward, double starf on the Invoker. Rubik goes forward, uses the Ghost Scepter on himself. And the Sven's actually going to go in here, does a ton of damage to the Rana. Silenced by the Earth Spirit, getting a nice silence there. And she's down for 95 seconds, no buyback available. Can End actually hold this, or are we going to go into a game 3? Cheese dropped on the ground for the Sven to pick up. Eventually he will. Eats it up. Man, that was some yummy cheese. Bet it came from
I wonder if
France
the
or
Invoker's
something.
regretting giving it to him, though. He had another mana burn for about a third of his health. That's why I see those, just having so much
Oh,
difference.
chain cross from the Invoker. He's not going to get a chance to drop down the boat. Nice impale by the Nyx Assassin, keeping the Bat Rider alive on the high ground. But in these fights, it's just not really enough to keep the Bat Rider controlled. Sven goes in, and that Nyx Assassin underneath the ground still just gets slapped down by the Sven. And that's 3 heroes down without buyback. Midas Gaming might be taking this to a game number 3.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. I think that sealed the deal for End. There's really no comeback options. You lost your 3rd gem of the game. Yeah, they do decide to call it right there. So we are going to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. I think you have to do some sponsor pitches or something for a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, but a little bit of an interesting stat here. Every single series that we've had so far in the playoffs of the ProDotA Cup has gone to 3 games. Every single one.
They're just making you work for it.
Yeah.